Hi, and welcome to the Community InRoads show. My name is Joan Kulash. I'm going to be your host today. With us are two fabulous guests from the Andover Choral Society, Vidra Harris and Tom Connolly. Welcome, both of you, to the show. I'm so happy to finally get you on. We've spoken about it for a little bit, and we finally were able to do it. This particular thing that we're going to be talking about is a very exciting event that's coming up very shortly called Diverse Voices. So I want to talk a little bit, not a little bit, a lot about that, but just for maybe 1 minute, if we could talk a little bit about Community InRoads, which is the nonprofit that I am the executive director of, and that's how I met you, Tom.
That's correct.
So I was wondering if you could just very quickly talk about how we have helped the Andover Choral Society with maybe one project so people get an idea why we're here together, right?
Absolutely. So I met Joan with another board member probably 6 years ago. I met Joan in the North Andover Community InRoads offices, which many of you may know as Panera Bread on 114. Right. And Joan helped us initially with some technical issues we were having with our website with Google Analytics. And then we moved on to redefining our mission statement, and we worked on a strategic plan for the Andover Choral Society. And part of that plan detailed some goals and objectives to help us meet our mission. And 3 of the goals were to diversify our audience, to diversify our singers, and to extend our community outreach. At the same time, we would be getting familiar with a very beautiful piece called The 7 Last Words of the Unarmed by Joel Thompson. And those things came together and created the beginning of Diverse Voices.
Exactly. And for anybody who knows me and they're sitting there and thinking, Joan helped with Google Analytics, it wasn't me. What we do is we bring in volunteers from the community, and the Google Analytics was actually from a wonderful volunteer from NetScout, Inc., who assisted on that.
And he was great.
Yeah, he really is great. So Tom, also years ago when I first met you, and you came and said, hey, can you give Andover Choral Society a little bit of help? And I said, you know, I'm not so sure because, you know, we're really looking to help social justice organizations that help the people in Lawrence. But as we were talking, I was saying, you know, how wonderful music is as far as a unifier for all different cultures, and how important it is for us to begin to start thinking about that, because there's just such a dichotomy between one side of the river and the other. So there's North Andover and Andover, and then there's Lawrence, and never the twain shall meet. And there's a lot of distrust that comes along with that. So we're talking about how music could be a unifier, and then when you came to me and said that you were thinking about doing this Diverse Voices, I was so excited. Tell me what inspired you guys to do this.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, well, the Diverse Voices kind of plays off of our tagline, which is bringing people together through music. And the Andover Choral Society, although that's our name, is really made up of people who sing from across the Merrimack Valley into Salem, New Hampshire, down as far as Reading. And so we were always looking for ways to attract more people, to bring things together, for the music to be aspirational, for the music to be informative, and to be entertaining. And so as we thought about how we could bring people together, at one point we had a recording during COVID where we brought together a variety of 12 different organizations, and we had a virtual concert. And so that was kind of the beginning of bringing people together from an artistic bent. And then we realized after doing that, the performing arts groups were interested in working together, and 2, there's such a diverse and variety of art forms in the Merrimack Valley that we're all kind of unaware. We kind of live in our bubble, that we really wanted to address that. And so that really was part of the beginning.
And Vidra, how did you get all revved up about this as well?
I got into this when our last music director, Michael Driscoll, called me one day and said, Vidra, would you listen to this piece that is called The 7 Last Words of the Unarmed by Joel Thompson, and tell me what you think. And is it a piece that you think the Andover Choral Society could somehow present as part of our repertoire? And so I listened to it. The first time I listened to it, I watched the video of it. I watched it a couple of times, called Michael back and said, yes, we have to find a way to do this. So the piece specifically, the 7 last words of the unarmed, is about the last spoken or written words of unarmed African American men who were killed at the hands of police or government entities. And the choral piece itself looks at those 7 last words and phrases of these men and takes and puts it in this just incredible music direction that really gives lift to the words that these men have spoken in their last days on this earth. It is just an incredibly powerful piece. So it's been just a pleasure and an honor to be able to work with Andover Choral Society on this particular piece and find a way to bring this to the Merrimack Valley. It's going to be amazing. So the day itself, Joan, is now built into diverse voices, as Tom and you have mentioned, which is building community through arts and conversation. That's the whole idea, to blend the conversations of our community with arts offerings from the community. And we realized when we were doing, as we were working on the 7 last words, it really is a very emotional and touching and heart-piercing piece. And we thought we can't bring people into an auditorium and just sing this piece, however lovely we present it, present the piece and then say, thanks for coming. See ya.
Bye.
Go home. We said we have to do something else. Like, we've got to have a way for people to process what it is they've heard and either talk about it or think about it, but we've got to do something else. And so we went in a lot of different directions for a while. Should we have counselors there, or should we have social workers there, or what could we do? And we finally said the community can help heal the community. And so we've now built out this Diverse Voices event to be a 4.5-hour day, which will begin with the 7 last words of the unarmed. We will then break into 2 hours of conversations that the community is welcome to come and participate in on a number of different topics, including things like affordable housing, youth programming, food insecurities, health and wellness, alternative health therapies, and it's going to be an amazing 2 hours that people can go in between all of these different conversations and determine which one is important to them and sit in and listen to that conversation and ask questions of our panelists. But while that is going on, because not everybody is conversational, we know coming out of this piece, it's going to hit some people in a way that some of them are very introverted and want to go in and reflect on what they've heard, and some will want to emote what the emotions that they felt coming out of this piece. And so we are so thrilled to have the Esperanza Academy that's going to lead a drumming circle for us, so people can actually physically get their emotions out by joining the drumming circle once we close out the piece. And lastly, we'll have a number of different performers performing in small groups, doing dance and spoken word and choral pieces all around within the school while the conversations are going on. So you can participate by sitting and listening to music and arts, or you can go to an active conversation around a social justice topic. So it's going to be a really powerful day. And then we'll close out with a concert by Andover Choral Society and some of our other participating partners, which is going to be great.
I remember when you called me up, Tom, and you were telling me, I want you to get involved with this, thing, diverse voices, and I'm always like, I don't know what you mean. Before I get involved with anything, I want to know what you're talking about. So he said, just listen to this. He sent me the link to Diverse Voices. I listened to it, and I went on the phone right away. It's like, I am involved. I don't care how you want me to get involved. I'm involved. So I think what would be wonderful is if our friends at Cable Access right now could just play just a little clip of the 7 last words for us. Thank you guys so much for playing that. Vidra, the words are coming from, of course, the 7 last words of
Oscar Grant. And
Right.
officers, why do you have your guns out?
Why?
Why? That haunting last
holding
note of why?
And there are a few other songs where with the shock of "you shot me," you shot me, right? It's too bad that people can't hear the whole thing now. But
on June 17th.
June 17th, and the wonderful thing is that it's not us just sitting there and listening. It's us being a part and expressing ourselves as to how this hits me as a white woman, how this hits somebody as a person of color, what their lives are like. And it's something in a very safe space where we can begin to get to know one another and create a larger we, where it's not one side of the river and the other. And the trusting begins very, very slowly, for sure. We're not going to be walking away all of a sudden and saving the world, but I'm hoping that you're going to be able to do this over and over again in different ways. Tell me, what were the organizations again? You had mentioned Esperanza, and what were some of the others, Tom?
Sure. The person we have to thank the most is Superintendent John Lally at the Greater Lawrence Technical School. Without the Greater Lawrence Technical School providing the venue, this would not be happening. And then we also have the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center. We have Essex County Creative Foundation.
Community Foundation.
Community
Yeah,
Foundation.
easy
We
to say
have
that.
Mass Cultural Council, Enterprise Bank, Courageous Conversations. And then we have just a whole list of Zograph, Community InRoads, a whole list of organizations who are participating as performing arts and contributors to the conversations. We have groups that are also providing displays of art. We have the Chinese American Association of the Andovers. We have Chimaya Mission. We have Esperanza. We're just a long creative Haverhill, Elevated Thought, Guerrilla, Opera. We have participation by Merrimack College, by the Merrimack Valley Philharmonic. This just goes on and on. And
Beautiful rendition of "This Is Us" for "This Is Me" by Voices of Hope that they've
Voices of
sent in, which is
Hope.
it's
Right,
just
yeah.
gorgeous, absolutely
Yep.
gorgeous.
And it just helps you realize the depth and breadth of the art community within Merrimack Valley. And then we also have Town of Andover, North Andover also participating, Methuen. So there's just been a lot of interaction and a lot of collaboration and making connections that will hopefully stay after the event is completed.
So Tom, I have one comment right now. I am amazed that you remembered all that without looking at notes, because right, all
Well,
those names,
yeah.
many of them are nonprofits that we Community InRoads works with. So, but go ahead.
I'm sure I forgot. I know I forgot. That was not a complete
That
list.
was not a complete list.
But it's,
We
you
probably
know.
have 20 to 30 partners
Yeah.
between the arts, performers, people that have provided funding, people that have provided in-kind services.
Yep.
It's just been an incredible community partnership to make this happen. And it's also been incredible to see how connected the Merrimack Valley community is in lots of ways. It was amazing as we'd be talking with one organization and they'd say, you should speak with so-and-so
Yes.
over here. And we're like,
Yep.
oh, we've spoken with them. Or they'd give us the name of someone like, you're right, we should talk with them. So it was a wonderful connection across the Merrimack Valley in a number of different ways that has been so rewarding.
You know, as you're talking, I'm thinking that this whole experience from the very beginning has to have been a very much of a unifier. Even just talking to the diverse voices of people
Yes.
who are giving their input as to how this should be architected.
Yeah,
Right?
it has been. It has been.
So tell me a little bit about the discussion groups, because that to me, I mean, even when I'm sitting in church sometimes and the pastor gives this great sermon, I sit there and I go, I want to talk more about this. So as you're saying, you're listening to this music that, bong, and it's so how brilliant it is that you're bringing people together to talk. Who's facilitating it, and how is this working? And
Yes, so
what are
it's
the
going to be a
topics?
combination of some panel discussions, some key speakers that will speak on their particular topic. So on the panel discussions for health and wellness, there'll be about 4 or 5 different parties participating, but in particular in the areas of affordable housing, we have Erica Hernandez, who's the executive director for ACT Lawrence
Yeah.
is going to be speaking.
Oh, wonderful.
We're going to have Linda Zimmerman from
Neighbors
the
in
Executive
Need.
Neighbors in Need,
Yeah.
which is an incredible program. Just an incredible program. So
Yeah.
we're so thrilled. And I did not know that Linda was retiring at the end of
Yes.
June. So we're
Yeah.
catching her expertise just in time
Yeah.
before she sails off into the sunset for a well-deserved rest.
Good Lord,
But
yeah.
to have Neighbors in Need to be partnering with us is amazing. We have Jeffrey Thomas, who is the founder of the Mandela Project, who is going to be talking about yoga and how they're bringing it into disadvantaged communities so that yoga is accessible to everyone. You don't have to be, you don't have to have extra money to be able to go take a yoga session. Here is a way that you can participate in something that is going to be good for your health. And I'm absolutely delighted that my music therapy department from the Berklee College of Music is coming, and they're going to be doing work on alternative music therapies, types of exercises, specifically that are easy for people to do at home by themselves or with their families. It's going to be really, really fun.
And so the vocational school is where it's going to be housed,
Yes.
the Lawrence Vocational School.
No, the Greater Lawrence.
The Greater Lawrence
Technical School.
Technical School.
It's right off of 93.
Right. What's the address? River Road,
River Road,
is
it's
it?
just- I don't have
57 River
57,
Road.
yeah.
57 River Road. We're
Yeah.
gonna show
Right.
that. See, I
57 River
threw
Road.
you
I
a
just drive
curveball.
there, I don't know anything about the address.
But for
it's
those of
River
your,
Road, yeah.
but for those of your watchers for those of your audience that need public transportation, Greater Lawrence Technical School is right on the Lawrence bus line, and the bus lines, of course, in
Oh,
Lawrence
perfect.
are free,
Free.
right now.
Yes.
So you can come. Please
I
come.
love
And for
that.
those of you who are driving, if you're coming up or down 93 and you see the Chateau, that's the exit you take for the Greater Lawrence Technical School. You go in the opposite direction of the Chateau and just keep driving for a mile or two, and there it'll be.
Plenty of free parking.
And you
Free.
forgot to say
Free.
It's free.
food,
there's
the food.
Free food too.
Yes.
Right.
And there will be refreshments.
Yep.
'Cause
Yep.
we need to sustain people during a 4-hour
Yes.
event. So
And a lot of, it's been amazing the level of services in kind we're getting from local organizations and vendors in the area. We really have spent very little money on a very, I think, impactful event.
Yeah.
And the generous donations that these groups have made have been overwhelming.
and the food, by the way, is free.
And the food
It's
is free.
free,
Right.
The
cupcakes,
event is
Yeah.
free. And I should say the event is
And the event
also
is free, yeah.
specifically set up so that people, even though it's a 4.5-hour event, people don't have to come for the entire event. We would love it if they did, but it's specifically set up so that people can ebb and flow into the events that they're interested in and come for the portion of the program that's really of most interest to them. But we hope they'll come and stay.
Oh gosh, I really can't wait. I'm going to be hopefully bringing some friends, and so we
That'd
can
be
carve
great.
food. Tell me, because there are a lot of things going on. Would you dare tell me which one of the things that are going to be happening is the most exciting for you, or do you not want to talk about your favorite child?
I think the most exciting thing is that this is happening, that we have people coming together, the diversity of, in the arts, the diversity hopefully in the audience, the fact that we're able to bring this day together regardless if you like certain types of performing arts or you like a certain conversation, the fact that it is all coming together and happening and hopefully will happen again and again and again, that's the exciting thing.
Spoken by the leader of the organization. For me, it's my favorite child right now of all the things
I
that are
could
going
guess.
on
I bet I know.
is Esperanza Academy. And the students in Esperanza, we asked them if they would be willing to write poems around the topics of community and belonging. And they sent their submissions into us, and the poems are just amazing. What middle schoolers were able to put down in paper in language and in description is just so rich. It's just fantastic. And so we'll have a wall where we'll have the poems from the Esperanza ladies that will be showcased so people can walk along the poem gallery and read what they wrote, what they've developed.
We also will have several art displays from a variety of different artists and community groups in the cafe. So you can walk and browse and look at different art forms. The other thing we haven't mentioned, we will have probably 10 to 15 community services tables where organizations who maybe aren't as involved in diverse voices want to let the community know that these services are available to them. And so that will be
Wonderful.
set up so you can talk to folks about a variety of topics and issues.
So what am I forgetting? Anything? We're going to talk.
Would you-
Let's repeat one more time.
Would you
about,
mind if I share a poem?
Oh
from
gosh,
Esperanza?
no!
Please,
I
yeah,
would.
that'd be good.
That would be wonderful.
Well, let me see what I have here.
These kids, by the way, are, when you said the Esperanza ladies, now
These
how
are
old
they
are
are middle schoolers.
Middle school,
Yeah, so
so
5th, 5th,
ele-
6th, 7th,
right?
8th grades. Yeah.
But when you meet them, they have the poise of an adult. As a matter of fact, I think of myself at that age, I wouldn't even look an adult in the eye. And they come right up to you and are just, and they're so, the way they look at life with such depth and, you know, and they're so excited about what their next step is in life, and it's well thought out. And they advocate for themselves so beautifully too.
They
So
do.
I should have you
So
do
I'll do one of the smaller ones. This is from Hera, who is in grade 5, and around the topics of community and belonging, she wrote, "The smells of fruits and the ocean is a community to me. The taste of a tropical smoothie with pineapples, strawberries, mangoes, and many other fruits I can name but not in my poem. The sound of people laughing, saying, 'The water is too cold.' The vision of seeing my aunties with their rich outfits, listening to my uncles trying to crack open a coconut, getting my hair done under that extremely hot hair dryer. This is my community, my DR community."
Isn't that beautiful?
From a 5th grader.
I know, it's like, I was gonna say, yeah, but tell me what an Esperanza kid wrote. I don't wanna hear an adult.
This is
That
from
was
a
an
fifth grader.
Esperanza girl,
Yeah.
right? They are tremendous.
They are amazing.
So yeah, I can tell exactly who your favorite child is. So once again, we're gonna repeat the date, the time, the transportation, if we can repeat that one more time, and I know that Cable Access is gonna put that up again for people to put on their calendars. And do you wanna say it out loud too, one
Sure.
more time?
June 17th from 1 to 5:30 at the Greater Lawrence Technical School on River Road at Andover. It is a free event. Please come as you can, come and go. That we have performing arts, we have conversations, and we have concerts at the beginning and at the end.
Beautiful job, once
Thank you.
again, a beautiful job. So before I sign off,
Yes.
anything I'm forgetting?
Just special thanks to, we have a group of 10 to 15 people who have been working for several years, the Diverse Voices Committee. I'm not going to try to rattle their names off because I will forget somebody, but they have worked a long time, relatively thankless, at times tremendously tedious, and they have made this happen. I would also like to thank Erica Washburn from the Conservatory, New England Conservatory of Music, who's directing 7 Last Words, and Matthew Buono, who is our music director at the Andover Choral Society, who's conducting the Andover Choral Society concert, for their work. But I also want to thank all of you who will be coming,
Yes.
because you are the ones that will make this happen.
Yes.
Yes.
And so please come, even if you can only come for half an hour. Bring as many people as you want. It is family friendly. It'll be a great day.
You're right, it's the discussion that's going to be so important, and that kind of coming together.
And the space for all generations to have something to do. So with the youth programming and workshops that we'll have, there'll be something for everyone, all ages.
Yep. And really a big thumbs up to the technical school for giving
Absolutely.
the space, right?
They've been
Because
so
that's a
helpful.
perfect space.
They are
Absolutely.
wonderful. Yep.
Absolutely.
So I want to sign off now. Thank you folks for coming to our show again. It was wonderful. If anybody wants to learn a little bit more about community inroads and volunteer opportunities with wonderful organizations like the Andover Choral Society or Esperanza Academy, we've worked with them,
Yes.
and many of the other nonprofits that you've mentioned, please give me a buzz. My number is 978-604-8803. I look forward to speaking with you, grabbing a cup of coffee, and getting to know one another. It would be wonderful if Cable Access could play one more little piece
be
as we're
lovely.
signing off from 7 Last Words.
Thank